This is gonna be a more unscripted video where I kind of respond to what people actually said and commented on my last video, because people are kind of throwing insults my way and saying that I don't know what socialism is, that I'm an idiot, and I'm gonna respond to comments, and I'm gonna use citations for my claims to back up my point about socialism. So the first one is just the first Google search, and the first result from Google itself: socialism, a political and economic theory of social organization which advocates that the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned and regulated by the community as a whole. Synonyms: leftism, Fabianism, syndicalism, consumer socialism, utopia and socialism, welfarism, etc. A policy or practice based on the political and economic theory of socialism. In Marxist theory, a translation of a transitional social state between the overthrow of capitalism and the realization of communism. So you have it right there, and I'm gonna continue with my citations. Here I have the Merriam-Webster saying any of various economic and political theories advocating collective or governmental ownership and administration of the means of production and distribution of goods, a system of society or group living in which there is no private property, a system or condition of society in which the means of production are owned and controlled by the state. A stage of society in Marxist theory transitional between capitalism and communism, distinguished by unequal distribution of goods and pay according to work done. And of course, I'm gonna give a few citations on how actually the Norwegian government is set up, so you can kind of understand what I'm actually coming from. So I'm using these citations, and I'm gonna add a few afterwards as well, so people can't use strawman or red herrings and hide behind ad hominems when using the comment section or the downvote button, which seemed to get a lot of downvotes on my latest video because people didn't like what I said about the Young Turks or socialism. And I'm gonna state it again. Norway is not a country that has a socialism as a ground structure or ideology. It is a capitalistic society, and the government is run just like in England or in Netherlands or even Spain, where we have a monarchy and parliamentary system. So you can even I seen some claim that it's social democracy, but it's not. It's parliamentarism, where you have a representative of your regional or region, which you have where we have local and for the government, you can, each fourth year. So you vote for the local elections, which is your region, basically your state, and you have the national elections, where you basically vote for your representative for your region to get into in a seat in government to represent you, which that person can also become a minister, or if the party gets enough seats in parliament. So getting out of that out of the way, so you kind of understand how Norway is actually run, and claiming that it is somehow social, it is a socialistic society, which it isn't. Having a welfare system is an element of socialism. But so is school, libraries, police, firemen, and etc. etc. There are all countries in the West have some elements of socialism, but it doesn't mean that socialism is what the country is run by, the ideology. Norway has capitalism and has elements of socialism. Doesn't mean it is a socialistic country. Neither is Sweden. Perhaps you can make the argument that Sweden is more socialistic than Norway, but Norway is not a socialistic country when it has capitalism. It contradicts the claim that you can have a private property and private stuff and still have socialism. You can't have private property or anything private, of goods or anything, even production, distribution, everything is run by the government, which it is not in Norway. It is a capitalistic society where you can buy goods, and I saw also someone, which I'm gonna address later, that the middle class in Norway is basically supported by the Norwegian government, which is false. So I'm gonna address some comment. I'm gonna say their name in the comments because they so they know who I'm addressing, and if they want to reply to this or even have a debate about this, I'm all for having a debate about this stuff. So here we have Michael Stead. This is on my pinned comment. So he's saying, you are stupid, you don't understand their perspective. A 28% tax rate is socialism to Americans. To Americans, you are socialist. I know I'm a Canadian, and they call my nation socialist because our healthcare is single payer. See, your argument is weak, Michael Stead, because even if your argument heavily relies on just that Norway is more socialistic compared to, or we are our socialism, or the tax rate is socialism compared to Americans, doesn't mean the country is socialism. Just because you have tax rates which are different to another country doesn't mean it is any way socialistic, because you have private property and everything in every other Western country. So the only difference is the tax system is a little bit different, but that's about it. You have all the benefits and everything else in Norway compared to other countries. Let's address another comment, which is constructive critique. I think what Cenk was trying to say was that countries like Norway pretty much mirrors what his favorite presidential candidate political platform was. When he ran for office this past year, I know that the candidate Bernie Sanders referred to those countries many times during his rallies, wanted to take some of what Norway's approach to certain things is, and apply it to the US government for the people. So I'm fairly certain he meant no harm, please. Now, this is a comment I can understand, but again, I still hold the belief that Cenk, Anna Kaspering, who were in the segment of the Young Turks, and the Young Turks in general, they don't understand how Norway is run, and that it is not run by socialism or the ideology socialism. So that doesn't make any sense by them. Even if they mean that they were referring to Bernie, it still makes them wrong. Let's see, we can go through here. Tyler Coates. Coach, your country is also not run by capitalism as far as now, or are all political positions able to be formally purchased. Governance is a complicated thing. By saying we are not socialist, you are doing yourself a disservice by limiting the language used to describe the system. All social programs are socialist. Yeah, I agree to that. That's why they're called social programs. Don't let yourself be sucked into McCarthyism. Okay, but that still doesn't mean the entire country is socialism or run by a socialistic government or a model. So because there are social programs which are in other Western countries doesn't mean it's a socialistic country. So that's that comment addressed. So we have Christian Barrett. While Norway has a draft, they aren't always at war like the USA is. Also, it wasn't the extreme left that put Trump in the office. It was stupid people believing lies and fact that he ran against Hillary, one of the worst candidates in history. Further on, you constant harping on Venezuela. They took corruption not just a socialistic system. And while TVT is oversimplifying the explanation of socialism, what they are talking about is a clear distinction. You showed it in the video. They are saying you need a mixed system. They should have specified it that it was some socialist policies that help make the country happier than the USA. That much I will admit, but the problem is the country is so uneducated. If you don't dumb things down, at least that much they won't understand it, especially after the endless years of propaganda saying that anything socialist, even the smallest policy, is pure evil and will destroy the country. And the point at the end Cenk was making, a point that people refuse to admit the flaws with the USA and constantly assume we are the best despite the facts saying otherwise. And your point about freedom of speech is not quite accurate, as thanks to things like the Patriot Act, they can lock you up indefinitely if they feel you are saying something to disrupt it. And as you say, Cenk may not know everything about your country and saying he shouldn't be able to say things about it without checking his facts. So why you can say things about the USA without checking facts? That's basically a question. Well, first of all, I don't think the model Norway is or even Scandinavia is using is even possible for for the USA because. It's too big of a country and it just I don't think it's gonna work. But if Cenk is gonna say something, he's supposed to be a journalist. He's supposed to know what he's talking about. He's supposed to use facts, citations, and evidence to back up his claims, which he doesn't do here. And just because he dumbed things down or whatever, doesn't mean he gets to excuse his ignorance or his failed arguments that Norway is somehow socialistic, which it isn't. That would mean it would resemble closer to what Soviet was. And here we have Jonathan Anderson. He's probably Norwegian. This guy talking in this video is annoying. Norway has a free market, but its politic is socialist. Well, I'm going to continue, but just addressing that point. No, it's not, because right now we have a right-wing government, so that right there would kind of contradict what you're saying. Capitalist, socialism, and communism is only a variant of two things: government intervention and wealth distribution. This guy is right when he talks about when there isn't much difference between Norway and America. True, because they both consist of a free market, but Norway has many more government assistance programs to help the middle class stay strong, while America chooses to let their wealth distribution fail, hence the disappearing middle class. Cenk and talking about, obviously they won't go into enormous detail. No one is gonna catch what they're saying at all. They used literal political terms constantly. He is just trying to sound smart when Cenk Anna makes somewhat but true blank statements. I would disagree with you that Norway isn't actually directly giving money to the middle class, because the only thing you would actually get somewhat of a help, so to speak, would be getting a little bit of money, which is very, very little money when you receive a child. That's about it. So saying there is a big difference between helping the middle class in the U.S. and Norway, it's there's not that much of a difference. And we have enter FY. You don't have a clue what you're talking about, Andrew Dahl. Yeah, yeah, but that's all these people have, or he had to say, or he or she. The snow in winter fell. You cut off the rest of what he said. Norway is a social democracy, which is exactly what Bernie and TYT endorse. It is and goes and replies to me. It's a democracy with comprehensive social programs, or a social democracy. Well, you're not very bright, huh? Well, that's nice. Throwing insults my way, but it's a parliament system, and the social programs aren't that accepted. It's not a socialistic society. Um, there's not that much of redistribution. You have as again the unemployed receive help, and the asylum basically the asylum seekers receive help. But when it comes to people who are working, they don't receive any help except for uh, if you have a child, you get some sort of support from the government. That's about it. That's about it. Weirdo says whoever made this video sucks big dirty nigga dicks and does not know anything about economics, which is funny because I'm actually studying economics. So yeah. Um, and here we have Julination saying you are an idiot. All modern countries have some level of socialism. There can be some sectors in the capitalist markets and some socialist markets. Any country that taxes citizens to pay for public good is socialist. Also, taxes are high in these countries. You literally don't know what socialism is. You're confusing socialism to communism, where all markets are owned by the government. Military, education, justice, healthcare are socialist, while all other sectors are private. You're a total moronic idiot. Please stop reading with your relatives. Oh, that is very nice. So, and he gave me a link of saying the top 10 most socialistic country in the world, which doesn't really help his case at all. After taking a look at that link from Jubilation, there are no citations. It's just an assertion that these countries are basically the top 10 socialist countries in the world. Except for Venezuela isn't mentioned, neither is Cuba or any other of these countries that are not doing well at all. The Sonoran Desert Grower. Bro, here in the US, what you described is considered socialist. It doesn't matter that its elements or the finer details. Our politicians can be legally banned, so any elements of socialism can become demonized. We are a far-right country. The establishment Democrats are basically Reagan Republicans. Well, yeah, that is whatever. Justin Rosado, you seem to not have an understanding of what socialism really is. Again, I'm gonna leave citations for my claims, and again, I'm gonna use a different source for this. What is socialism? Socialism is a populist economic and political system in which the means of production operate under public political ownership, sometimes called common ownership. Common ownership under socialism may take shape through technocratic, oligarch, totalitarian, democratic, or even voluntary rule. All legal production and distributions are made by the ruling class. So again, Norway is not a socialistic country or based solely on socialism, because we have capitalism, which contradicts with socialism. We have elements of socialism, which most Western countries have, because we are rich countries, which makes it affordable to help people live better lives. And Jack says, I don't think you watched enough TMIT to know what the overall opinion is. They know they are not socialist. Well, I just used their own video against them, so yeah. And Bolanli Jenny, I think he meant that Norway has way more elements of socialism than the USA. Speaking from an American point of view, Norway is a socialist because it incorporates way more social aspect than the US does. I think you're doing your own country a disservice by playing down the fact that your government does take care of its citizens while still allowing for free trade and other capitalist aspects. Of course, it is simplifying the Norwegian government, but I think you're failing to see socialist aspect in your capitalist government. But again, socialism, communism, Marxism, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't work. It has been tried several times, and if you can use the argument that it's not real socialism, it's not real communism, whatever. You're basically running into the trap of a no true Scotsman fallacy. So, and we have another one, Nesmetin Ovachik. You don't understand what socialism is. Debatable muffin. Dude, you're dumb. Socialism isn't the devil. The rich not paying taxes is a true devil. This video shit. Well, that rich are paying taxes, so that is you don't understand my argument even. And we have Michael Berthelsen. We are socialist, moron, and continues to insult me in Norwegian. And says, yes, we are living in a socialist democracy, the very definition of socialism in a democratic context. But again, we live in a capitalistic democracy, which has socialist, perhaps some elements of it. Still doesn't mean we live in a complete socialistic society or run country by socialism. And Dylan Da Pickle, this is fucking horrible. Blow your nose. Think about what you're going to say. Yeah, I've received some criticisms, but this is how my voice sounds. So saying blow my nose doesn't do anything. And Trumpenstein, whoever is speaking is a total idiot. He's confusing the system of government with the economic system. No, because again, I've read the definition several times now. Because under socialism, political and economical structure are the same, and and I've explained how the Norwegian government is run. We have a monarchy which is run by a parliament which are democratically elected. And we have a capitalistic society, and the government has some social programs, but it's still not a socialistic government. If the government spends money to educate, provide healthcare, and retirement, the country is socialist. Well, you are paying this through the money you get from your work. So you're paying this yourself from your own labor, which comes from capitalistic society. And under socialism, you would everyone would basically have the same pay, and basically not everything will be run by the government. So Trump and I think you are the one who doesn't understand what socialism really is, because look at Venezuela, it's not doing well. And I would also say that for anarchism and any other form of government rule or anything like that, democracy and capitalism is the best option right now we have. So again, you don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. The country is socialist. To say that if you pay taxes and run business, you're not a socialist is just ignorant. Ironic that he calls Cenk an idiot. Pretty clear that Cenk knows 10 times more about government and economics than the idiot speaking. Check the fact, idiot. Well, that's nice of you to insult me. He then proceeds to link to an article which I read through now, and in that article, it's mostly anecdotal experience with some stats from the UN, but it doesn't really back up his point at all. Um, so again, the whole aspect of Norway being a socialistic country is wrong. Adulation here. Oh, sorry, I read that comment. But we still don't support socialism. We are a capitalistic society, which he quoted from me, A.G. Beamish. Capitalism is a system of commerce, not a system of fucking governance. You gamer puns. China is half-assed communist. Guess what they have? Capitalism. It's not bloody rocket science. I'm just going to file this on a right-wing gamer kid who watches Tumark Sagan of Assad and has a political opinion before his testicles have dropped. Okay. Again, ad hominems thrown my way. First of all, I'm not right wing. I'm what you would consider a classical liberal. Sure, I'm a gamer, but not a right wing gamer. I watch Sagan of Gods sometimes, but again, I said this in my last video, saying that capitalism as a free market, it cannot be able to thrive under socialism. You can have small aspects of socialism. Socialism can be good in very limited doses, where you have some programs or stuff like that, which can help people, but not as a part of government which is just run by socialism, where the government basically runs everything for the country, which doesn't work. Steigen Stern, you get a lot of benefits, quoting me again, but the taxes aren't that high, and people aren't dependent on the government. And he says then, well, thanks for defining democratic socialism and showing us that it's not only the US that has conservative fools. Again, not a conservative and certainly not a fool. This isn't a democratic socialism. Again, we have socialist programs. Sure, US has them. Germany has them, France has them, Netherlands, Spain. Again, the entire West has socialistic social programs, but doesn't mean it's a socialism or democracy. Sorry for stumbling my words, but yeah, it doesn't mean we are a social democracy. So. You're allowed to make your life as good as you want in America. Start a business. It's these idiots teaching you to get a job that makes you not happy. Whatever. The biggest part of government is the military. That would be around. Yeah. That's just another statement. Where someone else talked about stuff. And here we actually have a positive comment from Liviana. Not only do they not understand socialism, they don't understand progressivism. Cenk, not too long ago, was on TYT calling LBJ a progressive, and I was like, what the fuck? Progressive in the 1960s hated LBJ. Dude, stop. Progressive is as a synonym for liberal. The 1960s and early 70s were the most recent big conflict between progressive and liberals in the US. Until 2016 general election, and now there are still too many people of both perspectives who haven't figured out that they're not the same. Since liberals started trying to rebrand themselves in the late 80s by co-opting the label progressive, Hopefully, the current conflict will result in the two perspectives becoming differentiated again. Because I'm too tired of people criticizing progressives for the crap which liberals do and say. What you have there in Norway is a flavor of social democracy, which is somewhere around economic center. Some forms are on the left of center, others are on the right of center. Some are so centrist it's difficult to say whether they're to the left or right. I completely agree with this. It's not a social democracy. It has elements of socialism and even social democracy, but doesn't mean that it's run that way. The government has a parliament system, has some social programs to at least help the unemployed and the poor and those who have children, which are the biggest programs of what the government helps people with here. So saying that this country is just basically just a socialist country means just you're totally wrong. And for all the young Turks fans or Marxists or socialists that come to this channel, you can come onto my channel and contact me and try to debate me, but I'm gonna disprove you because my country is not a socialist country. The young Turks were wrong. If they're gonna make an assertion and a claim about my country, they have the burden of evidence, and I critique them based on what they said. Now, if you're gonna say they just dumbed this down as one of the people claimed they were doing, that you still need evidence to back up your claim, and they didn't. And the people in the comment section of the last video have not done that. There were two citations that were listed. One which was just an opinion piece, and the other one was better, but it was also anecdotal and just citing some random stats of the UN. So, anyways, those are. This is me addressing the comments. This is pretty long, and if you want to continue this in the comment section or want to debate me, go ahead. I'm open to debate, but don't hide behind insults or ad hominems just to try to say I'm dumb or anything like this. Because you come to this video assuming that I'm right wing, which I'm not, and making assertions about me which aren't true. So thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.